Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dreamcast. I'm your host, David the Speaker, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me yet again for another episode. Today, we got some very important things that we're going to be talking about, so tune in and just enjoy the ride. As you know, we are in a series. We opened season 2 up with this series, with the series called It's Not Just Work. It's called It's Not Just Work, with the subtitle of Creating the Best Work Environment for Yourself. Creating the best work environment for yourself. And we're really going to be closing out this series today. This is the end of it. I know it was such a good series, and I don't know, I took things from it. When I was working on this series to present it on my podcast, I took some things from it. These were things that I learned for myself and that I'm going to have to apply to my everyday job as well. I do not do my speaking full time. This is not a full time thing right now. Or I shouldn't say not full time. It is full time. I should say it's not paid. It's not. It's not what my money maker, as I should say. It's not providing my main income from my home. So I still do have a 9-to-5 job. So I have to bring this attitude to my job. But with that being said, let's get right into what we're going to be talking about today. I don't want to get too caught up in the introduction. I don't want to get too caught up in the intro and we lose our time, because your time is precious and I don't want to waste it. So today we're going to end the series off with an amazing topic, and that topic is called the benefits of learning. The benefits of learning. Now, we all probably understand and could grasp and comprehend what the actual benefits of learning are, but I'm going to talk about it regardless, because while we all may think we know, or we may be able to comprehend or come up with ways to, that we can benefit from it, it does not hurt us any if we refresh those ideas and we put those into our head as a front thought and not a rear thought, as I would like to say. It's in the front of our heads, not the rear of our head. It's not a thought in passing. It's something that we're meditating on right now. Because when you do that, when you put it in the front of your head, it's likely that it will cause change. It will cause you to want to transform the way that you're trying to behave when you're coming to your workplace, when you're coming to your job. So the benefits of learning. The benefits of learning. And learning is a very important thing that we need to understand when it comes to our job, because learning doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. People have that mindset, I'm not in school anymore, so I don't want to be taken to school. Remember we talked about in the last episode, removing pride out the way? Yeah. Pride, don't let pride get in the way of what you can learn and what you can accomplish in your job place. A part of creating the best work environment for yourself is the ability to learn. It's the ability to be trained, to allow someone to train you, someone to teach you something new, or you even taking the initiative to go and learning something for yourself. Learning, going to understand your job in a deeper way by yourself. A lot of people can take, if you're working at an office job, or you're working at a job where you're in the field, or this applies anywhere. You can take the time to take initiative on your own time and learn something new that will help you in your job, or benefit you in your job, or benefit your job altogether, to benefit your company altogether. And it's nothing completely wrong with that. And it's a very important thing and a very important benefactor when it comes to trying to make the work environment the best place for yourself. And I got 3 reasons why. Like I said, we're getting right into it. And I promise you, this episode probably won't be that long, and that's okay. But I got 3 reasons why I believe that learning is a benefit. I'm going to explain to you what those benefits are and how they can help you when you're in your work environment, how this can create a better work environment for yourself. Remember, we're talking about, it's not just work here. This is not just somewhere where we just come and collect a check. This is our moneymaker. This is how we provide for our family. This is as we talked about in the last episode, this is some sorts of a family. We spend 8 hours of the day in our and we spend sometimes 5 to 6 days a week at this place where we work. We spend a lot of time there. We're going to try to make this the best work environment for ourselves. I want you to remind that, because that's the whole reason why we're doing this series. Okay, we got to make this place be the best possible place it could possibly be for us. We don't want to go to this place dreading this place, because it takes up a large portion of our life. So with that being said, let's get into the first thought, or the first point that I have for you today. And that first point is, one of the benefits of learning is you can acquire more responsibility. You are now able to acquire more responsibility. Now, while that doesn't sound like, some people are probably looking at that, but how is that making my work environment better for me? I don't want more responsibility. I don't want to do more. I don't want to add on to my plate. Well, being able to learn something, or being able to be trained, now allows the job to say to you, or the company, or your bosses, or your managers, now they're looking at you and say, hey, like, this person is trainable, 1, and 2, I taught them something new. I can now give them more responsibility. I can lessen the load from myself at this particular point, or not lessen the load, but I can go focus on something else that needs to be done within the company, or needs my attention, because now I've got a person who either took the initiative for themselves to learn, or I was able to train them, and now they're able to carry that responsibility for the job. I trust them to carry this responsibility for this company. When that happens, when you have your bosses and your managers, they have more trust in you. They look at you different. You can actually carry yourself a little bit more different when it comes to the job, because now you acquire more abilities in the job. You've acquired more attributes in a way in the job. You're adding to your resume. You're adding to your stats, if you will, in the job. You're making yourself a prime player. You're turning yourself into an MVP. And everybody loves to be an MVP. Why? Because it comes with special treatment. Being MVP, being top of the line, comes with special treatment. They value your opinion. They understand that you carry some of the weight of this job, and they understand that you have the ability to move forward, to help this job progress and move forward. Accepting more responsibility with the ability of learning puts you into a key position to elevate, which brings me to my next point. And that point is, you add to your value of the company. You're adding to your value, essentially. When you have the ability to learn, when the manager looks at you and says, I can give you more responsibility, when they say this person is trainable, you're now adding to your value. You have attributes that you're capable of. You're capable of doing more for the job. This adds to your value. It adds to your value. They're now looking, like I said, they're looking at you now as an MVP. They're looking at you as a valuable player, a valuable member of the team because of what you're capable of. Because you have the ability to learn. And what does what does that mean? Like what does that look like for you? When your value is now added to, that usually that usually leads to what? Promotion, more money, more opportunities. Some jobs, when you get promoted or when you're getting raised, it leads to more vacation time, right? It leads to the ability to travel. Some jobs, they're corporate level jobs. They give you the ability to travel with the company. They do all paid, all inclusive trips to lead their company. They ship you off to other places to manage the other portions and other teams of their company. This leads to elevation. This adds to your value when you're able to learn. Simply just learning. When you're able to be trained and you're able to learn, this does so much more for you as a member or as an employee of this company. And it's so important that we understand this, because when you get more money, when you get promotions, when you're traveling the world, when they trust you with more responsibility, it essentially makes your job better. You mean to tell me, if you woke up in the morning and you were going to the job and you knew that you're now making more money, you're making 6 figures. You mean to tell me your job is paying for you to go on these all-inclusive trips to train other people? You mean to tell me that you got more vacation time? You no longer now have 2 weeks worth of vacation. You have 3 weeks worth of vacation. You mean to tell me that wouldn't make you happy? That wouldn't lighten your mood? That wouldn't want you to come? It wouldn't help you want to come to work a little bit more? Yeah, like it would. These are some valuable things that plays a part in allowing you to go to work. So when we are in our jobs, I want to encourage you guys to learn things so you can accept more responsibility, but also to learn things because it might lead to promotion. It may lead to elevation. It may lead to 6 figures. You never know. This is meant to encourage you to want to learn a little bit more about your job. Go the extra mile. It won't hurt you. And usually 9 times out of 10, the job values that and they will reward it. They will reward it. Which brings me now to my final third point. The last thing, or the last benefit of learning, is you now have the ability to train others. Now, I said this briefly, they all kind of run in together. But I briefly mentioned this in the last point. But these points run together. It's like a chain reaction. Now, not only are you an MVP, not only are you trainable, and you accepted more responsibility, not only are you adding more value to yourself within the company, you now have acquired the ability to teach and train others. Companies take that very seriously. And if the company does not want to add to your value, if they don't want to pay you could demand it. Why? Because you are able to train other people. You carry that weight. And even if the current job that you're at doesn't work out, you now have things to add to your resume that you could take to your next workplace and say, hey, while I was at this workplace, they taught me X, Y, and Z. Not only did they teach me X, Y, and Z, it allowed me to be promoted. I was now promoted to a level where I had 6 figures. Not only was I promoted to a level to have 6 figures, they have now asked me to start training the other members of the team. They've placed me with the responsibility to train. The reason why that job did not work out is because they didn't want to pay me. I couldn't get the word out, guys, so I'm going to switch it up. They didn't want to pay me for being able to train people. So now I come to you because it looks like you will value what I have to bring to the table. I can do all that and more. And not only that, I'm willing to learn more. I'm willing to go further within the company. I'm willing to grow within the company. I'm willing to accept more responsibility. You're making this the best possible work environment for yourself. You're treating this job as if it was important. You're treating this place as if it's not just a job. It's not just work. It's not. Now again, I said this in the opening, and I'll say it again. If you're in a place where you're accepting this, you just got the job just for the sake of money, and you don't like what you're doing, you don't like where you are, it is very difficult for you to accept what I'm teaching you here and what I'm bringing you to the table. But it's not impossible. Because ultimately, if this is you, you can change your attitude and your perspective on how you view your place of employment. Because I believe that there is opportunities for you to grow, and I believe there's opportunities for you to better yourself within your company. And it's only going to take you to change your perspective and your ideals about the job so you can be able to find something that you enjoy or to have the motivation to want to do these things to grow. You're going to be able to communicate, as we talked about in the first episode, right? You'll find the motivation to communicate, right? Then you'll find the motivation to Then you'll find the motivation to start challenging yourself and challenging others. Then you'll find the motivation to learn. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. But it can be very difficult. And if the job that you're in, if it's too difficult for you, if you just don't like the job, you can't see your place, you can't see that as a place where you will grow, then it's time for you to look for somewhere where you want to be. Look for somewhere you want to be. And I know there's a lot of motivation. I'm going to talk about this because this is my podcast, so I'm free to discuss things and deal with things as I will. I know there's a lot of talk out there. There's a lot of videos and a lot of motivation out there for people to create their own business and start their own businesses and to be an entrepreneur. But I don't think people realize how difficult that is. And everyone is not meant to be an entrepreneur. The truth of the matter is, everyone's not meant to be an entrepreneur. It's very difficult. You have to have a drive and a will to be an entrepreneur. People who are entrepreneurs work more than people who are employees. You have to be willing to work a lot. It's not just 8 hours a day. You're working 10, 15, 20 hours a day when you're an entrepreneur. Your livelihood is based off of this. It's not, everybody's not cut out for that. Everybody's not cut from that same cloth. And it's okay. But you can be cut from the cloth to be the best possible employee for somebody's business. You can be cut from the cloth to be the best possible manager for somebody's business. You can be cut from the cloth to be the best supervisor for somebody's business. And that is okay. And I don't want us to run from a job and say, oh, this is not for me, and try to start a business and then realize that that's not for you either. And you just feel like the weight of the world is coming down on you because you can't find within yourself somewhere to work, but you can't start a business either. It's either going to be one or the other, guys. You either are going to be an entrepreneur and you have that gift, you're cut from that cloth, that's something that you're meant to do, and you do it, or you're not going to be an entrepreneur and you're going to be an employee of someone else's business, and you're cut from that cloth. And I'm going to go on a whim, and these are not studies, these are not numbers that I've pulled from a site. This is just my generalization of this topic. But I believe like 90% of the world, people they're meant to be employees. They're meant to be people who are meant to work for someone else. And this is okay. This is how the world works. And I don't want you to dismiss that. Being able to communicate, being able to challenge yourself, being able to learn are key attributes that you can carry into a job that will make you an MVP of your workplace. Not only will it make you an MVP of your workplace, you will begin to change your perspective about your workplace. You will realize it's not just work. And once you realize that it's not just work, you are now focused on creating and making that the best possible workplace for you. Because you realize that this is taking up so much of your time. This is taking so much of your emotion. This is taking so much of your intellect, your creativity. This job is taking from you. So you have to be able to look at it in a positive light. You have to. So you can benefit from this workplace in the best possible way. So with all that being said, everything we've discussed for the last 3 weeks, okay? Everything that we've talked about in the podcast for the last 3 weeks. What do I want you to take from all of this? Focus in on changing your perspective about your workplace. Make your workplace the best possible workplace it could possibly be. When you go into work with a smile on your face. Whatever you need to do prior to doing that, do it. If it's listening to music, if it's working out, if it's spending time with the family, if it's woosah and getting some quiet time to yourself, if it's going for a walk, if it's whatever it is that you need to do to allow yourself to get into that workplace and go into that workplace with a smile, go into the workplace with a smile on your face. Do what you need to do to go into the workplace with a smile on your face. Go into your workplace with a positive attitude. Go into your workplace not complaining. Go into your workplace looking for what you can accomplish. Go into your workplace with every intention to bring out the best possible you ever. Go into your workplace looking for how you can benefit from that job. And then also look for how the job can benefit from you. When you go into the workplace with this attitude, you are able to communicate. When you go into this workplace with this attitude, you are able to challenge yourself. When you go into the workplace with this attitude, you are able to learn. And when you go into the workplace with this attitude, you have now created the best possible work environment for yourself. So with all those things being said, I hope that you have taken something from this series. I hope that you enjoyed it. We're going to take a break from the series, And we're going to do some normal podcasts. I got some other things that I want to talk about in our podcast. So look out for the next episode next week. We're going to be dealing with some new things. But I hope that this series has empowered you, has encouraged you, has uplifted you, has inspired you to just want to do more in your workplace. And I hope that you benefit from everything that was said today, and it changes your perspective and ultimately makes your work environment the best place possible for you. This was David the Speaker. Thank you for tuning in. Always peace and love. I'm out.